Dude, there's so many wackos out there that think that vaccines are, a scam or they're dangerous.
A video has resurfaced from Joe Rogan's podcast from back in March 2020, showing that he has become the very thing that he once called out. This clip is absolutely incredible.
No, so that's what we need to do here. We need to just have straight talk. Don't tell them it's low risk. That's like the hurricane, okay? I would be really mad at you if I thought you were a hurricane forecaster and you knew this was coming, but you kept telling me, oh, it's low risk, don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah, once it hit.
Yeah, so that's what we need to do today is just say this is going to be challenging. And we're going to get through it, though. We are going to get through it.
I hope this wakes people up to the value of vaccines, too. There's so many wackos out there that think that vaccines are, a scam or they're dangerous or there's so many people out there that won't vaccinate their children.
I know. And that's one of your best shows you ever did was Peter Hotez.
Yes,
he's a dear friend of
guy.
mine. I do too. He's a dear friend of mine, as you. And, he is one of the champions out there on this very issue.
Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's really an important point that, we got to get this idea. These vaccines can be life-saving. If we had one right now, think how different this situation would be in we're in right now. Thank you for what you do say about vaccines because people listen to you and we need every positive voice because we have so many crazy voices out there right now
that are so paranoid and delusional, and they want it all to be a conspiracy. There's been an amazing medical innovation in human culture, and that's vaccines. It's amazing what it's done. And have there been adverse effects on people? Of course, everything that people do. There's some people that are going to react in a bad way. It doesn't mean it's not a positive thing.
That clip is incredible. And I remember watching that podcast back when it aired. I don't remember that moment, but it was a very informative discussion. So that was Michael Osterholm, who's an internationally recognized expert in infectious disease. That was back, I think, March 4th. I can show you the actual link here, which doesn't show the date. But this is episode 1439. It's on YouTube. This is before his Spotify deal. You can look it up. It was a fantastic discussion back in early March about, right at the beginning of the pandemic, about what could happen, what we have to think about. It was a very informative hour-and-a-half discussion. Since then, it's all downhill. And it's amazing to see him there Rogan call out, the anti-vaxxers about being afraid to vaccinate their young kids when he spoke out against vaccinating kids with the COVID-19 vaccines. All the skepticism, the idea that everything's a conspiracy, that's what Rogan has now become. It's amazing. It shows you also how much of a sponge he is. He often just sort of becomes the person that's in front of him last. So, if he has Michael Osterholm on again, maybe he'll, become informed again. But it really is. Rogan is so malleable, which is also why I've discussed it. If you are able to engage with him, if you're able to be a Michael Osterholm and can get on the show and talk to him, then you should do that as opposed to trying to just, censor him in some way, which you can't even, you're not going to be able to censor Rogan. I've discussed I did a big breakdown video on that with, when Jon Stewart came out to defend Rogan. So understanding Rogan's power, it's important for people like this to be able to get on that show if they're able to. Of course, Rogan has to invite them on. But if they're able to have these discussions and re-inform this audience that at one point was informed back at the beginning of this pandemic. And last thing here, I just want to give credit to the person that shared this clip on Twitter. So King Bully here, Dave the Bronx Bull, that's how I found this clip. It's just, I bet if you go back and watch this episode, I bet there's more moments like that where it's just like, who is Rogan? Like, compare him back then to who he is now. But it shows you also that he can change back into a potential force for good if he has more of these sorts of informed individuals on his show.